Warmly welcome to this first of the Less Stress in Leadership with BeeKonnected shows with guests. Uh, my name is Dr. Annika Sorensen. I am a medical doctor from Sweden, and I want to do this show because I want to showcase my friends and colleagues, and I also want to show how we can use BeeKonnected in the best way. I'm not going to talk about me. If you want to know more about what I do and so on, you can go to the channel for this uh, Be Calm Leadership group, and you can find the replay of the first session that I did just with myself. Yes, and you can hear why I do it, what I do, and why I do it, and why I want to do this. So you can go back there. And if you're not a member of that group yet, then you can click the link at the left hand side at the bottom. It says Join My Be Calm Leadership Group. And you will come to there and just click that you want to join, and I will get you in after this show. Today, my first guest here is Wendi Hatton, and she is a lady you really want to know. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Annika. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me to be your first guest. That's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who she is first, and then she's going to tell us more about who she is and what she does and why she does it and all those fun things. She is an online visibility coach and trainer, as well as a certified coach here on BeeKonnected. And she has been in the coaching industry since 2012. That's more than 10 years, long time. She helps women entrepreneurs increase their visibility so they can showcase their expertise and make a bigger impact in the world while maximizing their profit. She's a Navy veteran and a professional clarinetist. That's impressive. Wendy was named the National Association of Professional Women's Woman of the Year award in 2015, and has been featured in the Woman of Distinction magazine, as well as in the Possible Women's magazine. Wendy lives in Washington D.C. area. You have all these English words that you kind of get stuck with
You're doing
if you're from Sweden. She's from the Washington, D.C. area in Northern Virginia and lives with her husband of 41 years. And she has two grown children, both musicians, as well as two beautiful grandbabies. That's an impressive list of things and awards and everything that you have done.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about your work and what you do and how you've come to this place in life.
Gosh, let's see. Well, it's a winding road. I'm sure everyone's journey is that way. But I am a musician, and that's how I started. I'll just start when I was in the Navy band. I was in the Navy band, and that was a great career. And so all of a sudden, I retired. And then I was thinking, oh no, what do I do now? Because we weren't going to move out of this area, which is a really expensive area. So, and retire pay was not going to cut it all the way through. So I said, okay, so the most logical thing to do would be to start teaching private lessons at my house. So that's what I started doing, and it was a struggle at first, trying to find the students, trying to build up the my clientele, I guess. And I would have 2 or 3 students at the very beginning, and it still wasn't very wasn't where I needed to be. So it took a couple years before I could actually get up to the number of students that I needed for my income. So probably 7 or 8 years down the road. It was fun teaching them how to play scales and teaching them a solo so they can play in recitals. But I just thought that there must be something else out there that I could make a bigger impact on, and but I didn't know what it was. But in the meantime, when I retired from the Navy, it was very stressful. The part where you in Washington, you have to get inspected and you have to do the every 6 months weigh in and then a physical training test and which is was very stressful for me and several of my other friends. And so when I retired and didn't have to worry about that anymore, I was so relieved that I just started eating whatever I wanted to.
Oh, that's funny. Do you retire at a specific age, or is there why do you retire? Because you're not that old.
Actually, I retired early. I retired at 15 years rather than 20 years for that exact reason, because when you do these weigh-ins, if you fail 3 times in a row, then you're out of the Navy without any benefits or anything. And so I was very scared about that. And so I got to the point I was reaching 15 years and I got to the point where I failed twice on
Okay.
the weigh-in. I said, "Okay, this is it." This and they offered the early retirement. They weren't offering it until that point. They said, "Okay, if you have at least 15 years in the Navy, you can retire now." And I went, "Oh, thank goodness." So so I did, and so then that was the beginning of me thinking, "Oh, I'm so relieved now. I don't have to be inspected and all." It was a great job. We went on tour all over the place, played my clarinet, and got paid to play my clarinet. But it was that whole other part, that other piece, that was part of it too. That was very stressful for me. So I, when I did retire and started teaching, and I started gaining weight, and then after about 7 or 8 years, around the same time when I was thinking that I wish I could make a bigger impact, I, went to the I had a doctor's appointment, and the doctor told me I had sugar diabetes, and that was the key. That I did not want that to happening anymore. So I said, "Oh, no, I've got to do something." And so I went online and found a, weight loss fitness, program, and they had coaches. And I had never had a coach. I didn't really know what coaching was at the time. This was
Yeah.
like back 2012. And
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't that known
yeah,
or popular or whatever you would say.
right. It
Uh,
wasn't that known back there. So there were about 10 of them and they had their bios. We could pick the one that we wanted. So I selected one that I thought would be a good fit for me. And so I was in that program for about a year and a half, and she helped me lose 70 pounds. But
that's impressive. Congratulations. That's impressive. And
yes,
you got rid of your diabetes?
yeah, well, yes, it's kind of hovers around the border, but it's not where it was before.
Yeah.
So, so for some reason, the company restructured a little bit, and they had to get rid of some of the coaches, and mine was one of them. And so when she when she left, this was the proof that I had that coaching really works. When she left, then I started kind of inching back up again, inching up. And I thought, "No, I can't do this." So, but she did help me lose all that weight. So I was so happy about that that I wanted to help other people lose weight. So that's when I started coaching. So I started coaching as a health coach. And I did that for about a year and a half. But I was inching back up again. And then I was thinking, "Oh no, I'm not making a good impact or a good example to these. If I'm gaining weight, how can I make them lose weight if I'm gaining weight?" So that was one motivation for me to just to keep going and keeping my weight at the place where it needs to be. And then while we were in this coaching school, and two other coaches and I started a blog talk radio show called Sky's the Limit Radio. And there was no Zoom. So it was all on the conference line.
Yeah. Old time. Old
Oh,
times.
And we interviewed coaches every single week of all different niches, and it was really fun. They had so much to share and so much expertise, and we were just amazed at everything that they shared with us. So we did it for 5 years. It was 5 years. We didn't do it as a monetary type of a thing. It was just fun. It was
Who
like
did you do? Who did you do that with?
Oh, I had, taken several coaching, programs, and they had all had Facebook groups. So I would go in the Facebook groups and post, "Hey, I have a new podcast. Who wants to be interviewed?" And everybody just jumped on it. And I did it in all
Okay.
these different groups.
So it was your podcast. You were doing it by yourself with
I was
guests.
I was actually doing it with 2 other co-hosts. So the 3 of us were on the phone talking to this one person that we would be interviewing, and we would take turns asking questions. Like, they would give us the questions they wanted us to ask them just to keep them kind of on the same path
Mhm.
that they wanna be. So, it was really fun, but, so I became friends with several of the coaches through the years, and they would share with me that they wish they had clients, that they couldn't figure out how to find clients. And I'm thinking, "We interviewed you, and it was a great interview. We learned so much, and it was so transformative." I felt really bad about that. So I said, "I wanna help these coaches so they can get to where to the people that really need them the most." So I just went out and got some training, some sales training, the type of sales training that I knew that coaches would resonate with, the compassionate, non-manipulative, salesy type. So so I got that and some marketing, also training. That was all the programs I took and everything. So I got equipped to be able to help these coaches, and so that's why I'm doing what I do right now. I still perform on my clarinet. So my business has 2 parts to it, my performing and teaching on clarinet, and then my coaching and helping coaches and other entrepreneurs grow their business and become visible online. So that's where I am right now. It was kind of
And
a
you what I hear is that you show a very good way, or you have gradually changed your route to where you want to be. So you
oh,
have,
absolutely,
because
yeah.
you've seen what's needed, and now you changed so that you do uh,
Yes,
something that you really feel in your heart that this is something I want to help people with because you had the problem with it.
correct, yes. I finally feel like I'm making a bigger impact, but still doing the
Uh,
other my music too.
yeah, and that is for fun, or isn't it?
Oh, no, that's a
It's for I hope it's paid, but I mean,
yes, yeah.
but I
Yeah.
mean it's a really uh,
It's fun. I mean, I would do it even if I would do the performing part, even if I didn't get paid that much. Oh, well, I still do it, even if somebody calls and asks me if I can play something that I really enjoy doing, but it doesn't pay, like, there's some volunteer things that I do as well. So both, it's kind of a mixture of
yeah,
paid
but your
and
students, they pay.
oh, the students pay, yes. They definitely pay for sure.
How big is that business today? Kind of.
Um I teach in 2 places, one at my home and then one at a school in another state, which is in my area, we've got Virginia, DC, and Maryland, and so I live in Virginia and I teach in Maryland once a week, 10 students there, and I have about 8 students in my house, so I have 18 students total. Yeah.
That's quite a lot. That
It
is,
it yes, with that and then all the coaching and the BeeKonnected and all of that, it
yeah.
keeps me busy, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
if we talk about Be Connected, how did you get into Be Connected?
Oh, it was actually this sort of the same way what we're doing right now. It's a friend, invited me to be interviewed, and it would be held on Be Connected. And so, by the way, you'll need to sign up for Be Connected for free so that we can set you up as a co-host. So I said, "Sure, why not?" I wanted to just be on her podcast. So I think that was really brilliant to do so. That's what my plan is to start a podcast to invite people from outside of BeeKonnected so they can introduce them to the platform, and then they can be wowed and want to join. Well, they would be joining as co-hosts.
Yeah,
So
they have to join.
yeah.
And when did you bring the music into the platform?
Oh gosh.
And
From
why did you oh, start with when?
oh, let's see. So when I started the Be Connected, it wasn't we didn't have any of the coaches here. When I did the interview, the interviewer, she did kind of show me around a little bit, but that was it. So, we didn't have the coaches that we have right now to support us and guide us through the different platforms. So I didn't really do anything on Be Connected at the very beginning. It was December of 2020. And so then and last year in July, she reached out and said, "Hey, Wendy, Be Connected is starting a coaching program." And I went, "They're starting a coaching program?" And so I was all about that. So that was in July. So that's when I started really learning the platform, getting certified and all of that. So and now we're here. So I've been active on Be Connected ever since July, mid-July.
Yeah, and if I want to go back to that music part because I find that intriguing that you're using an online platform for music lessons,
Mhm.
and some people might not know that that is possible.
Oh,
And now I know you use Be Connected for this, and we can come back to that. What did you use before, and how did you end up doing things online with your music?
well, because of the pandemic, I had never taught online before, and then the pandemic happens, and then you still have to make income. So so people just started going online and having lessons on Zoom, which now that I see how Be Connected is, I didn't realize it on Zoom at the time, but it's just so much of a difference in terms of the quality of sound and even the audio or the video as well. Because on Zoom, they would play, and a lot of times you couldn't hear some of the notes. They would just kind of go out, and it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating. And then you couldn't because the clarinet goes down, you can't really see. The same thing with
No,
here. So you can't really
exactly.
see everything. So either I have them stand up or I have them tilt their laptop down a little bit so I can just see their fingers. That's why I figured that out. But it makes it very convenient when they either if it's too far to live, because I have some pretty far away students that are online, and well, the ones in Maryland, if for some reason they can't fit into my schedule when I'm there, I said, okay, we'll just do it online on another day, and that makes it so that I'm not losing income because it would be if they didn't come, then I don't get
Then
paid,
you
but
get, yeah,
let's just do it online. So
that's
they
how
like
it works. So, yeah,
right, yes, and here on Be Connected, they have this little switch that you can turn on and off. As soon as you are setting everything up before you actually, like, come live, there's this little preview box, and it says, "Reduce background noise," and you wanna and I make sure that they turn that off because the system thinks that an instrument is background noise, which it isn't, so they're trying to suppress it. So if they turn that off, then it's just like they're in the same room. It's so pure. Like the I couldn't believe it because even on Zoom, it's just so crackly and staticky sounding. But on this, it's just so clear the sound that they make. And the first time I heard a student do that, I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. It sounded like she was in the same room that I was in. So I'm very glad that Be Connected has this clear feature for music lessons. And I also know someone else who teaches piano that she faces or like she aims the camera right on the keyboard and has people play. So she stopped doing that. So, but she is gonna start back up again because she retired from her other job. So I'm gonna tell her about Be Connected so that she can start teaching on the platform as well.
yeah, they call it. I'm not the tech person in that kind of sense, but they call it an HD
Oh,
quality. Is
high
that what it is?
Yeah, I think yes, it is HD. Yeah, high quality. I would say that yes, it is high quality here. So I really appreciate that. So I'm glad to be able to utilize Be Connected in that way, as well as the on the other end, talking to coaching and talking to colleagues and things like that. So
Yeah, and about the sound, I always think it's good sound when you have clients, because I do have my clients on here too, and
mhm,
the sound is good also for talking, even if you don't click that button.
right. Even if you don't click that button. It is kind of funny because if that reduced background noise is turned off, like they have some noise going on that's not their clarinet, I can still hear that too, but that doesn't that doesn't happen as much, so I'd rather sacrifice that and hear an actual pure sound from a clarinet with no, like, fizzing out or staticky noise or anything like that, so
So where
yes.
do your pupils end up in the end? Are they going to be musicians?
Oh, some of them are. I have a 2, I think, that, actually became professional and played in a military band, and a lot of them some of them, became band directors themselves, and some of them just went on and were double majors in college, and that's what I actually suggest that they do, because the music business is not as lucrative as other,
Mm,
industries. So if
you're right.
right?
Same in Sweden.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. So if they love playing, they can either do a double major or a minor clarinet or something so that they have something else that they can really make a career out of. And yeah, that's what that's what I suggest to many of them, unless they're so talented that they definitely should go into music. And there've only been a couple of those students, so but everyone else is, let's see if he can get a scholarship, like a music scholarship in this particular college, because a lot of times their bands or marching bands don't have enough students, so they offer band
Oh,
scholarships, and
that's
so
great.
yeah, they just need to be
And
banned for the whole time, so
and music, playing music and listening to music is a very good stress
oh gosh,
relieving thing.
it is.
Uh,
It helps
that
your
from my perspective,
yeah,
being a stress management consultant,
right, that's true. It does help with school, like, kids who take music in school do better in
it
s
does absolutely. And
yeah.
singing in a choir is releasing enormous amounts of feel good hormones in your brain.
Oh,
So
oh, yeah.
that is, there are quite a few scientific studies on that, that
Mhm,
it's really, really good.
definitely. Your kids did your you said that your kids were all, like, mu did music, right? So
Yes, my kids do music, and one of them is a musician. She's
oh,
a trained classical singer, and she has her own company. In half time, she works in a school as a teacher,
oh, wow.
ordinary school as a music teacher, and the other half she has her own choir. She has singing pupils at
Oh,
her
wow,
home.
excellent. Yay,
And she made a musical the other year. Uh, all the
really?
text, all the music, everything.
Wow.
So she is living on her music. It's not. It's not. It's kind of tough with the money. Yes, it is. As you said, the
Right,
other two have other occupations, but they both sing in good choirs and they play instruments.
excellent.
So we
Wow,
have a lot of that.
your family has a whole house full
Yeah,
of
I have a
musicians.
sister who is a pianist, and she's been a pianist for all her life. So it's
Oh,
always been there in my life. And
oh,
I know how good it is for you.
Yes, definitely.
Well, that was so great to hear about s- your journey and all those different turns that you have done over the years, and then also how BeeKonnected, the platform, actually is an upgrade for your business uh,
Definitely, definitely.
compared to what you had before. Is there
Right?
anything else you would like to tell us, or
Some amazing
end with?
my kids are amazing, so
Yes, you have musicians also as kids.
yes, yes, they are musicians, and my son, who's the oldest, he has 2 little ones that are 3 and 1, and that you can tell that their ear, the three-year-old, you can just tell that she is gonna be a musician of some sort. She just remembers songs and things, and she starts
Yeah,
on the same note that she did, like, before. That tells me that she's got a really good
yeah,
ear, so
yeah.
yes. So that's,
So,
yeah, and then my daughter, she just travels all over the world with playing her viola, and she tours with celebrities, and the most recent person was Post Malone, if you've ever heard of him. He's apparently this
no.
really famous pop star guy, whatever, but she's been gone
Okay.
all over the world with him, Australia and New Zealand, Brazil, like, all over the place.
Yeah,
So
and viola is such a good. It's such a beautiful instrument.
oh,
My
yes,
my
yes.
my youngest daughter plays it, but
Oh,
she's a
wow.
doctor, so she's not
Oh,
professional.
well, her brother played cello, her older brother played cello, and she didn't wanna play the same thing he played, and then she thought violin was too high and squeaky. So she said, I'm gonna do viola."
And my middle daughter, she started with a cello, and she said, "It's too big. I want an instrument that you can walk around with." So she changed to the violin.
Oh, it's a lot lighter than a cello, that's for sure.
It is. You can carry it around much easier.
Actually, it must be in the genes because even my extended family they're musicians as well,
Yeah,
so
of course, there is some of it is in the genes,
mhm, for sure.
for sure. Absolutely, I'm positive of that. Um, we get different amounts of it. I didn't get the full amount. My sister got it,
Yeah.
but I became a doctor, so I've been having a
Oh.
good life anyway. So
Yeah, my brother and sister didn't get into music as much as I did, but, um, I know they would've, but they went off to do other things, so so, yeah,
anyway, thank you so much for being my guest here, and
you're
I
welcome.
hope to see you all again then in the next week. Then I have a new guest, and we're going to talk about that person's interests and stories.
Yes, thank you very much, I appreciate you inviting me.
Thanks.
There's
Thanks a lot. Now I'm going to turn off the recording.
okay.